Hi, Catherine. Where are you?
Hi, Peter. Do you mean physically or do you mean in my practice?
Well, I'm hoping we'll get to that in your practice soon, but maybe you'd like to introduce yourself first.
Okay. Well, physically, actually, I'm in Ormeau Park, but my name is Kathrine Paisley. I am an interdisciplinary artist based in Belfast. My work explores the human-made world and the consequences of which. I work primarily in paint, but I use my paintings as a stage, as installations, which I add audio and film too. And I basically, how I got here, I graduated with a BA in fine art from the University of Central Lancashire over in England in 2018. And since then, I have been traveling, backpacking around Europe. I moved home to Northern Ireland. I was awarded my residency in Flax's Emerging Artist Hub, which is brilliant. And I have been volunteering at Golden Thread Gallery, where now I am a gallery assistant. I'm also a Venice Fellow for 2021. I've also been published in multiple publications and I've exhibited in England, Northern Ireland, and online. I'm based in the Belfast art scene now and I'm really enjoying it.
That's a lot. So what are you actually what are you working on now?
But at the moment, what I'm working on. I think it's like a good start is to talk about where the original work has began. So a lot of the work that I'm working on has been developed from my degree show, which was called Zenith, and that happened in 2018. So the work's been building since then. That work was focused on nuclear activity. A lot of my work focuses on the theory of the Anthropocene. I know that is quite a big word, but it's basically a geological epoch centered on human activity, and it's saying that as humans we have altered the Earth's biological cycles to the extent that they are irreversible and undeniable. So like geologists could go back in time and find a chicken fossil or plastic or concrete. So there's human evidence that we've been here and impacted the planet. So in my work I seek to make people feel uncomfortable about that as I do. So in my degree show work, I showed lots of nuclear activity, nuclear missiles launching. One of the key pieces of the Anthropocene is nuclear activity. Apparently, nuclear tests from now, the isotopes of which will be traceable in the soil for a further 100,000 years, which is mind-blowing for me, and I think it's awful for the environment. But so in my work, I try to create this really hard, like the sense of doom through my work. So I created time lapses through oil paintings of nuclear missiles launching and nuclear missiles landing, but you never saw the consequences of which, kind of mimicking the Anthropocene that's initiated, but it hasn't officially began, and with consequences which have not been seen. I added audio and visual stimulation through film. So I had, as you went round this exhibition, it was like this like mimicking of time. You were caught in this almost like a car crash, and there was a painted film of where I mimicked a nuclear missile launch through abstract, zooming in on an abstract painting of a launch through camera through a camera, and created like a time lapse. And as you went round, it went on, so the bomb landed but never actually exploded, and then you went further and there was just a black film with the time running down from 1 minute. I took like an interview of a survivor from the tsunami who obviously was in distress talking about it, and he was talking about how from second to second he thought he was going to drown, or second to second there was more water coming into the room, and I added that more and more and more, so again drama, and I was on second to second, quicker and quicker and quicker, so that was more of this impending sense of doom. So I feel like through my work, I seek to really enforce this idea of inevitability, that something is coming, that we have no control in it. and almost like if you were in a car crash and you in that moment you feel it's about to hit but you can't prevent it, and you're just like, oh shit. I'm not sure if I can say that, but that is the feeling I'm trying to create through my work.
Okay. I think I'm getting a good sense of it, and your passion for it. So where can we follow your work if we can't get into the studio to visit you just yet?
Well, at the moment, I'm sharing a lot of development of my current work through my Instagram, which is at Kathrine Paisley Art on Instagram, and through kathrinepaisley.wordpress.com. But my current work has kind of developed since then. So at the moment, I'm actually thinking about the mentality of climate change and this human world and the consequences of which we are facing. And I'm looking at the idea of denial and escapism. So I'm comparing whenever we find out about this monumental problem with how we react when we come of age, when we are faced with these, like, say, like even when you come into adulthood and you're like, oh my gosh, it's too much, I can't cope, there's so much I can't control, so you decide, I don't want to control, I'll just leave it. And often people seek escapism through substance abuse, through bad relationships, through, I don't know, just there's so many forms of escapism. But in it, that's what I'm comparing our reaction to climate change with. And I think that's incredibly relevant right now, to comparing youth to the Anthropocene. We are living in this dystopia, this pandemic, which is which has been revealed, what I'm trying to say, this pandemic has revealed that we have been living in a dystopia all along. This hasn't created it. And I feel like young people living through it are often being blamed for it, and they're going to be living through this and the problems it's caused most of their life. But yeah, that is generally what my work is about right now.
Hey, Kathrine.
But I've started creating the paintings of it, and I haven't figured how to develop it through to the painting and audio stage where I'll create it as installation.
Would you like to tell us what's helped shape your practice, influences, that kind of thing?
Okay, so one of the main influences for my work is the philosopher Timothy Morton. There was one line out of his book Dark Ecology which really informed my practice, in which he describes climate change as a human investigation. So we as a human investigate the climate change, try and find the perpetrator, but in investigating it, we find out that we are also the criminal, which I find quite interesting. It makes this sort of bizarre film noir plot, where like reality is kind of twisted. And there's also another quote for him where he says that by turning, like, we ourselves as an individual are not guilty of climate change, but every single time you turn on your car engine or you do something which you know is not environmentally friendly, you're adding to the problem, and you are. So by knowing you are, and knowing you are part of the guilty collective, you become responsible, and you become responsible for the problem and as the collective. So I'm really interested in this idea of responsibility, especially as an individual and as collective.
So are you seeing your work really as a call to action, a prompt to change?
I really see my work as, I hope it's a prompt. I don't want to make people to feel comfortable with how we're living. I want them to come into this gallery environment where my work will be shown, and I want them to feel I want the paintings to draw them in. People are used to seeing paintings in a white cube, so they come in, they see these paintings, they feel comfortable, they walk around them, then they come across the audio, they come across the visual prompts that I'm adding through video, and they feel, here, wait a second, I don't feel comfortable, and I'm making them conscious of a problem that they've disassociated themselves with. I'm trying to add this idea of human consequences, and I'm trying to put the viewer into the position of, this will impact you, like this is a human tragedy. And I'm hoping that once they leave the gallery, then they'll become more conscious of this problem and how it may impact them in the future. Or if it doesn't impact them, how will their actions now impact people in the future? So kind of a stir to action.
Okay. And sharing your insight into the world.
Yeah.
As you see it now.
I just want people to really I'm just trying to get people to also experience the lack of control and this sense of inevitability that I feel through my work. That's what I'm trying to get them to experience.
Okay, well, I'm really looking forward to getting in and actually being immersed in one of the installations soon.
Okay, thank you very much, Peter.
Kathrine, well, thank you for this brief but very intense introduction to your practice and a glimpse of the outside. Really looking forward to catching you in the studio soon.
Thank you very much, Peter. It's nice to talk to you.
Cheers now. Bye.
Bye.